Hey everybody, we're EyeMove Technologies. My name's Ali, and I'm joined by Oswaldo and Arjun. And our venture is to enable the mobility of quadriplegic patients through eye tracking. The product we are developing is an add-on device that attaches to powered wheelchairs and uses eye tracking as the only form of input from the user and navigates to the point in the world that the user is looking at. So if the patient blinks 3 times, the wheelchair will now autonomously move to that point in space. The first principles from BET320 we applied in the early stages of our product development were market discovery and market segmentation. Understanding what subset of people with motor disabilities are in need of a novel product that would address their mobility needs was crucial. Through research and interviews with occupational therapists, we gained a deeper understanding of the powered wheelchair market and discovered subsets of patients with different needs. After looking at these market segments, our FYDP, EyeMove Technologies, decided to initially target the 420,000 North Americans with mobility such as ALS or spinal cord injuries who are unable to use traditional wheelchair control methods such as joysticks due to lack of motor dexterity in their hands.
Two alternatives for joysticks already exist in the market, namely sip and puff systems, in which the users suck or blow into a straw placed in their mouth, and head tilt systems, in which users use their head motion to push on sensors at either side of their heads to control the wheelchair. These solutions have been around for decades, with few improvements over the years. As the article Skate to Where the Money Will Be mentions, the needs of the most and least demanding customers increase over time. However, mobility devices companies such as Permobile and Origin Instruments have not been addressing these ever-growing needs, and as such, existing solutions have big disadvantages for users. They are intrusive, outdated, mechanically complex, prone to malfunctioning, and expensive. After identifying these traits, we decided that the ALS and quadriplegia market segments could benefit from the application of computer vision to control their wheelchairs. Although the use of eye tracking technology for mobility is a novel idea, EyeMove is in no way entering a blue ocean. We still operate within the same red ocean as other mobility solutions, such as sip and puff and head tilt devices, provided by strong incumbents that have dominated the market for decades. Although the use of eye tracking technology in the medical industry has been gaining traction in recent years, its use is mainly limited to rehabilitation. Therefore, a product which integrates eye tracking technology as a control mechanism for powered wheelchairs is novel. Our proposed solution to use eye tracking for controlling powered wheelchairs is less intrusive than existing technologies, as it does not require mounting any sensors or devices on the user, and simply uses cameras to observe the patient's eye movement. It is also more intuitive than sip and puff systems, which only give the user coarse control over their movement, whereas our product would allow them to look at a specific point in the world and have the wheelchair autonomously navigate to it. Given the mechanically simple design of our product, it would also be cheaper to manufacture and maintain than the current solutions, which are mechanically complex. Despite our product being novel in many ways, however, it is simply a better way to control one's wheelchair. That is, it does not meet the demands of an underserved market segment. Therefore, we have determined that our eye tracking mobility solution is an example of sustaining innovation. As such, it is expected that EyeMove will have strong competition from incumbents in the mobility devices market. From the article The Half-Truth of the First Mover Advantage, we can see that the powered wheelchair market finds itself in a calm water situation, as the paces of market evolution and technological evolution are very slow. Note that this market could be easily and correctly labeled as a technology leads market, with the explosion of artificial intelligence and computer vision in the past years. However, advances in the artificial intelligence and computer vision segments should be treated independently to the advances in the wheelchair mobility technology. That is, the pace at which AI research is evolving does not directly impact the rate at which this technology can be adopted into the wheelchair market, given the large amount of integration work that must be performed in order to develop a working prototype for wheelchair control. Given that existing products have not changed over several decades, one of the key challenges that EyeMove will have to overcome is gaining brand awareness. As noted in the article Why Great Products Fail, it is crucial that customers perceive our product as a better solution. We don't want to end up in the same situation as Aqualiza Products Limited, who created a better shower head but never succeeded because customers simply did not know that a better shower head was possible. For EyeMove, there is a risk that patients will not look for alternatives to sip and puff and head tilt systems because they do not know that a better solution is possible. As such, it is important that patients, clinics, and insurance providers understand the benefits of eye tracking technology and prove that our solution is superior to what exists out there. Entering the mobility devices market will be challenging. As stated in the article, The 5 Competitive Forces, there are 7 barriers of entry for companies in a new market. The core advantages incumbents have are with regards to supply-side economies of scale and unequal access to distribution channels, given that the incumbents have well-established avenues for manufacturing and distributing their mobility devices. However, we have determined that we will not be at a disadvantage due to restrictive government policy, given that our device falls under Class 1 medical devices, which have a 95% exemption rate from FDA approval. Given the large amount of barriers that EyeMove will experience in entering the mobility market, we have decided to operate on a licensing-based strategy, which will allow us to partner with incumbents in the market. This will allow us to leverage their well-established manufacturing and distribution channels, hence bypassing many of the barriers outlined above.
So our business model has 3 main components. First, we plan to certify with the FDA as a Class 1 medical product. 2, we plan to sell pre-assembled kits to gain traction at clinics. And 3, we plan to license our technology to existing wheelchair and other solutions manufacturers. To go into our business model further, our customer segments will focus on disabled and quadriplegic patients, people that can't manually operate a joystick by themselves. The value we can add to these patients will be in terms of greater independence and freedom without complicated or intrusive mechanisms. Our channels to meet them will be through doctors and clinics and care facilities, people that work firsthand with patients. And we hope to build relationships founded on a working product that meets their needs with great technical support from our side. Now, our revenue for these will focus on direct kit sales to care facilities early on, with the focus on direct licensing agreements with wheelchair manufacturers later on. Our key resources will be time and capital. We need to be able to build our prototype and then iterate it on when we have feedback. Key activities will focus on getting our FDA certification required for any kind of real partnership. Now, our key partners will focus on wheelchair manufacturers, care facilities, and patient organizations, because they'll help us do these clinical trials, work with first-time patients, and get great feedback. And then B, when we go to iterate, the wheelchair companies will help us understand how we can best integrate our solutions into real wheelchairs. Our cost structure will focus on getting our certification and then maintaining it as we develop more. And then our equipment costs, the manufacturing process, the sensors, the computers will all cost money to acquire. So how does our business model follow the 3 hidden competition curves? First things first, we develop our innovative eye tracking solution. Next thing is we partner with existing incumbents and leverage their manufacturing and distribution channels, gaining better efficiency. Finally, we transition to a base of intimacy and focus heavy on user testing, getting great first-hand feedback from clinics and doctors alike. This will help us iterate further on our product and repeat the cycle. Crossing the chasm will be difficult for a product, as there's physically not a lot of people in our market, only about 420,000, compared to the relatively high R&D costs of buying sensors and computers. So how do we do it? Well, we have to make sure that our value proposition is absolutely crystal clear to the majority of customers. It needs to be known to early and late majority customers that our solution is affordable and practical, and that we don't compromise on comfort and intrusiveness.
The core attributes of the current products for wheelchair mobility are ease of use of the device, level of control the device grants, and the comfort level during wheelchair control. Comparing our product solutions to existing sip and puff and head tilt solutions in the market, it is clear that EyeMove's add-on product exceeds all of these core attributes held by other products, making our core attribute performance higher than the competition. However, our product does not offer significant new features to how the wheelchairs are controlled, other than safety features with our obstacle avoidance system. Even though our solution is much more advanced than the competition, as mentioned before, it is a better way of doing the same thing, which is controlling the wheelchair. So our new attribute performance is moderate. This means that the best approach for positioning our product in the market is the new attribute high-end approach, which means that higher-end customers, meaning those with better insurance or in a better clinic, will be willing to pay for this product, which allows us to sell our product at a higher price. So, throughout this presentation, we have determined that our solution is just a better way of enabling wheelchair mobility, which makes it a sustaining innovation. We also learned that licensing is our best approach for entering the market, given our barriers to entry in the medical space. And additionally, we found that given the advancements of our innovation, the new attribute hind approach allows us to target higher end customers. And finally, it is important for us to develop strong partnerships with customers to sustain brand awareness to help us reach early and late majority of customers, which is why we have begun conversations with the ALS and Spinal Cord Societies of Canada to build trust with patients suffering from quadriplegia. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. We're EyeMove Technologies, and we seek to enable mobility of quadriplegic patients at the blink of an eye.